folks, good evening. I'm sorry we're running a little bit behind. We're going to start off with, first of all, wishing everyone a very happy new year, and hopefully we can move forward and onward this year and everyone stay healthy as much as possible. We're going to, first of all, have our reorganizational meeting for 2022, and then we're going to our regular board meeting. So, Town Clerk, would you please take roll call?
Okay, Mike Ferrara.
Present.
John Dyson, absent. Frank Seneca.
Here.
Caitlin Muskowski. Here. Steve Churchill.
Here.
Yeah, four.
Thank you. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I'd like to call to order the reorganizational meeting for the town of Seneca Falls for 2022. First up on the agenda is numerous appointments. I have a motion to set the appointments listed on this sheet, please, for 2022. Have a motion for that, please.
Make a motion.
Thank you. Yes, we are. Have a second for that motion, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. These are pretty basic. Town attorney. These are special attorneys. Town engineering firm. Barton and Judas will be doing engineering for water and sewer. MRB group will be working on engineering for drainage issues. Financial consultant, MRB, appointments of the town clerk in the clerk's office, as well as court clerks. Deputy supervisor will be Frank Seneca. We have highway superintendent, deputy clerks appointed for water, sewer, highway, and waste water treatment plant. Zoning officers, secretaries, et cetera, not much different on the appointments. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? All in favor, please say aye. 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 Any be opposed? Carried. We have some appointments for the different boards. I'd like to do these separate, please. Can I have a motion to appoint Catherine Lutz as a regular board member to the planning board?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I have a motion to appoint Maria Scholes and Matt Blair as alternates to the planning board.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second, please.
Second.
Second. Any discussion?
Second it, right?
Frank. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Could I have a motion to appoint Susan Scholler as a regular to the zoning board of appeals?
I make a motion that
Thank you.
Susan be appointed.
And could I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. And I'd also like to make a motion to appoint Gerald Drake as an alternate to the zoning board of appeals for the second.
You gotta move on to one motion before you do.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. All in favor of Susan Scholler to the zoning board of appeals, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Carried 4-0. Motion to appoint Gerald Drake as an alternate to the zoning board of appeals.
I make a motion to appoint Gerald Drake to the
Thank you.
alternate.
Second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have some vacancies in the Heritage Preservation Commission, if anybody's interested in the audience. Also have another vacancy for an alternate on the Zoning Board of Appeals, if anybody's interested at some point, please see Nikki. Can I have a motion to appoint Susan Savino to the Cemetery Commission?
I'll make a motion to appoint Sue. Second.
A second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to appoint Fran Barbary as town historian?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And finally, can I have a motion to appoint the Bonadillo Group as town auditors?
I'll make a motion to appoint them.
Thank you. And second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I'm going to make a motion that our meeting day will be Tuesday of each month at 6 p.m., the first Tuesday of each month. Our official banks are Community Bank, Five Star Bank, M&T, First Niagara, Lions National Bank. Official town newspaper will be the Finger Lakes Times. Mileage will be as per the IRS mileage rate. Can I have and I'm going to make that motion. Can I have a second for that, please? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I'm going to make a motion that we adopt the procurement policy for 2022. This is the same policy that was updated last year. Can I have a motion for that, please?
Make a motion to adopt the procurement policy
Thank
for
you.
2022.
Have a second for that, please? Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and finally, committee assignments for 2022. These are board committee assignments. I'm going to make a motion that we approve the 2022 committee assignments. Have a second for that, please.
I'll second
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. Any other business for the reorganizational meeting? Could I have a motion to close the reorganizational meeting, please?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to call to order the regular meeting for January 4th, 2022. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to do a petition real quick. We're gonna do that. Okay, we have a couple of petitioners to speak tonight who have signed up. There's a microphone over on the podium. I'd just like to remind folks that there is a 3 to 5 minute time limit to be respectful of the time. Second thing, I would remind folks to be respectful. And thirdly, well, no, those two. I guess that covered. All right, so Gene Gilroy to speak about odor control. There's a no microphone there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
there is.
there you go.
Is that what I use?
Yep, please. Sorry.
Okay, well, give it a try. Okay, I have a bit of a story to tell you. If I can read it. 3 days before Christmas, I called in an odor report of Seneca Meadows stink at my residence, because SMI no longer calls me to notify me when they're coming. I sat at my window for 45 minutes waiting to see who showed up. Finally, a truck of DEC trained sniffers arrived. A dirty, rusty truck with a diesel tank in the back. They sat in my driveway with the windows rolled down. They took a video to prove they were there, but they never got out of their truck. I said, why didn't you call me to tell me? I said, you call my daughter who lives next door, but you don't call me. Why? Well, you've been tagged as nasty. I want to tell you folks, you've never seen me nasty. And you don't want to see me nasty. I've never been nasty. I'm not nasty to the lady that I call on the complaint line, and I'm not nasty to the people who come to the door. I may be a little on edge, especially like the time when I got out of my car and threw up because I got a violent migraine from the smell. Or maybe it was when my 110-acre farm smelled like a urinal cake. Or maybe it was the day when I got 5 odor reports that said no odor recorded. Yeah, that's how nasty I am. Because on Christmas Day, I drove from McGee Corners to Gravel Road, 3 miles in stink in my car all the way. And I did not call Seneca Meadows because it was Christmas Day and somebody was home with their family on a holy day. I didn't call, and a lot of times I don't call. I also get at least 2 people to verify what I'm smelling. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. There's a lot of times I don't call, but I'm never nasty. But I might get nasty. Last night, at 11:30, I called in an odor report. 11:30 at night. It stunk so bad outside my house. So I knew they wouldn't call me because I'm nasty. So I sat in my window and I watched. 45 minutes later, a truck pulled up. They turned around and sat in my driveway. Nobody got out of the truck. The truck was running with gas fumes and everything. Nobody did anything. And 5 minutes later, they left. I can't wait to see that odor report. Seneca Meadows has no business tagging anyone as nasty. We are your constituents, Mr. Town Board members, Ms. Town Board member. We don't deserve to be called names. We've always complained in a businesslike manner. The role of government in this town, even at this level, is to protect the health and safety of the residents. I'm reminding the new town board that they have a fiduciary responsibility to the people of Seneca Falls, not to grant a giant mega corporation. They have a duty to the people of Seneca Falls, not a duty to a giant mega corporation. And I'm asking you not to renew the town permit because the odors are not under control. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any privilege to the floor folks who would like to say something? Please make sure you state your name and your residence.
While he's
please.
coming up, I would also like to corroborate that last night, I live about a quarter of a mile south of Segilroy on Gravel Road, and noticed that the odor was absolutely atrocious outside. Let my dog out and about gagged. The dog didn't spend much time on it, but it was really bad. So thank you, Chief.
First off, I'd like to thank you for the privilege to speak to this board and this town people. In 2016,
I'm sorry, could you state your
Oh, I'm
name
sorry.
and your residence, please?
I'm sorry, my name's John Dundas. I live at 1566 Burgess Road, and in 2 months I will have lived there 39 years.
Thank you.
Okay. In 2016, I requested to talk to Mr. Black about the odor. So we met, he actually caught me down at Connie's Diner, and we sat in the booth right next to the jukebox. He told me that they knew what the problem was, and within 3 weeks, they would have it solved. Okay, we know how that went, okay? I have an average IQ, maybe in the upper half of average. Had I graded myself all through school, I would have been genius, okay? Seneca Meadows will not relinquish smell reporting because they will lose control. They have no credibility on this. If you look at this, one of the most recent odor reports, go down to the bottom, okay? Did you detect odor on site? That means the landfill. No. Now, what person here thinks that there is no odor at the landfill? So if there's none at the landfill, they're definitely not going to have any at your house. When they come out to the house, and also if you do look at this odor report, it's not signed, okay? It's typed. But if you look at it, the wind is out of the southeast, 2 miles an hour, blowing directly toward my house, okay? I only call when it smells, okay? If you are there, if you can catch them, you know, sometimes they just do a drive-by. If you can catch them and get them out of the vehicle, they will admit to it. Okay, not Kyle, he'll stand right there and won't admit to it, even when his guys standing next to you say they can smell it. Okay, but if you don't, 100% of the time, you will get this report just like this. No odor on site, no odor on its complaint site. Okay, now recently, a lot of money was pumped into this election, and I'm sure they expect a return on that. Okay. What I would like to suggest to especially the new board members, we have a president and vice president that won't go to the border, because if they go to the border, then they might have to deal with it. I would suggest, implore upon you, as a matter of your credibility, to make 3 trips by Seneca Meadows, and make one of them on a Sunday. Okay, go out 414, go across Strong Road, come down Burgess Road, come down North Road. And if you don't get a stench all 3 times, I'll be completely surprised.
Strong Road, Burgess Road.
Strong Road, Burgess Road, 414, and North Road, where Walmart is. Whatever you plan to do when you go forward with this, at least you will have taken the responsibility to see how bad it really is, and then you can decide, you know, do I want the money? Is it just a money thing? You know, then at least you'll have some credibility that you're honest and you know, it's the money is worth it. You know, and you know, who cares about the people that live out there? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other petitioners? Okay, thank you. In December's board meeting, we accepted with regret the resignation for retirement purposes for Alice Capacci, and Alice, on behalf of the Board of Education, on behalf of the town board and the residents of Seneca Falls, I'd like to personally thank you for your 33 years of service, I think, and wish you nothing but great health and the best of luck in retirement. Enjoy it. I can only give you a clue or a tip, I guess. If the phone rings and it's the town of Seneca Falls, just don't pick it up. Chief Keenstra has a presentation, and we have some cake that we're going to share with you and your family and friends and the other staff. And Missy's going to, after we get a picture of that, Missy's going to help me cut it, right, Missy? Sure, yeah. You're the best. Chief, it's all yours.
Thank you. So Alice loves being honored in the public, so I'll have her come up with me. She loves this stuff, don't let her fool you. So it's my honor to recognize Alice Capacci tonight for her nearly 34 years of service to the town of Seneca Falls, both as a dispatcher and a clerk. She's been around for almost as long, minus Linda here, who's been around a little longer, but not to rub it in, but I was a sophomore in high school.
That's cool. He's what, 3?
But I have a plaque here I would like to present to her. She's been a dedicated, compassionate employee for the town and all of us in support of us. And I'll read the plaque that I have here. In recognition of of your 34 years of immeasurable contributions and service to the village and town of Seneca Falls, best wishes on your retirement from your friends, colleagues, and family at the Seneca Falls Police Department. And it is Alice worked from 1988 to 2002. And for those of you who do not know, her last day of service with our agency will be this Friday. So we wish you nothing but the best, Alice. Congratulations to you and your family. We love you.
Okay, we have Alice, so take a look at the cake before we butcher it up. Made it myself this afternoon. Okay, Alice, you gotta cut the first piece. I'll take that. Thanks,
Make a wish.
You don't try.
I think our wish has already been granted.
Thank you.
We did make them. You want to eat that?
Or what you pass it off.
That's not mine. Can I have the third leaf flower?
That's your cat. The third.
Make it through the mask. Watch out that she needs more computer help.
You guys want to, folks, anybody want a piece of cake? Come on up, please. Anybody? I'm not delivering. Pick back up with the regular meeting. I think I left off one item. We have to, can I have a motion to adopt the Robert's Rules of Order to conduct our regular meetings? Can I have a motion for that, please? Thank you. And I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor to adopt Robert's Rules of Order for meeting conduct, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to, because of the first meeting, I'm going to put all these reports into a motion, and then I need a second, and then if there's any questions, most of the folks are here, some are not, but if you have any questions, please ask, okay?
You mean reports for the department heads?
Correct.
We
Okay.
need to do approval of minutes.
I'm sorry. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. Okay, approval of minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the regular board meeting for December 7th minutes?
I think so moved.
Okay, second? Second?
I'll second.
Gotta speak up, folks. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, can I have a motion to accept the minutes of the year-end special meeting on December 29th, 2021?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye.
I'm not sure I saw those.
Both were in your
There's
packet.
a copy in the packet.
Was there a copy in the back? I
Yeah,
saw the
right in
one.
the first page.
Okay, I thought that was all December 7th, but.
No, that was on the first,
Gotcha.
the first, right on top.
Okay, moving to reports. I'm going to make a motion to accept the dog control officer report for the month of December. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Thank you. I'm going to make a motion to accept the zoning officer's report for the month of December. Have a second, please?
Second it.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Sure.
Dean, I was just wondering why the guy that lived out on Gravel Road that put in a generator got charged a $40 fee, and Wolfie's put in a $54,000 generator that get charged a fee. I don't know, $54,000 generator must be as big as a house.
He's going to pass that on to Dean for me, please.
Oh,
Could you ask that, no, can you ask that question again so everybody hears it? It's on.
On the zoning report, out on Gravel Road, a person put in a generator, cost about $8,000, got charged a $40 fee from the town. Wolfie's put in a $54,000 generator, and then get charged a fee. Just curious why.
Dean, go.
Because we have never charged for a home generator to be installed or a commercial, because basically all that needs is an inspection from the electrical, the Commonwealth electrical people. The county doesn't require that as long as they submit the electrical.
But I think the question is that we charged the homeowner, or we didn't charge the commercial?
The homeowner was done before I came back. So from this day forward, no generator.
Got it.
We should refund that homeowner then.
We should probably do that. If we've never done that before in your tenure, then we should definitely make that refund. Great idea.
Thanks, Dean.
Okay, thank you. Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. I'm going to make a motion that we accept the Parks and Recreation report for the month of December. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions for Missy? Missy, any questions for us? Nope. Okay. We approved the appointment of Assistant Director in December's meeting. That person started yesterday. I'm sure everything has changed the world already, I'm sure. Great. Okay, I'm going to make them, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. I'm going to make a motion that we accept the Highway Superintendent's report for December. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
I'm going to make them carried. I'm going to make a motion we accept the Assessor's report for the month of December. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
I got a question.
Any questions for Debbie?
I want to.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go.
All right.
There's people that can't hear, like myself.
Yeah, me too.
Go ahead. Use the microphone.
Is it on?
It's on.
Okay. I wanted to thank Debbie and her staff that sent out 803 letters for residents, senior citizens, by the way, to apply for the Enhanced Star, which helps with their school taxes. That was probably not required, and was a nice gesture that they did. So I appreciate it.
We received 45.
I can't hear you.
I don't need one.
Yes, you do.
We received about 45 new applications just from that letter. And people that were over 65, most of them. So I'm glad I sent it.
I didn't get mine in the mail, I know that. And then Debbie, coming up, starting March 1st, there's the, right, it'll be for 2023, right?
March 2nd, we're
Right.
on a new year.
So back about a year ago, the county and then the town board adopted a change in the exemptions and the sliding scale, and to provide some more tax relief for our senior citizens and veterans, et cetera. And that will be kicking in 2023.
No, it's in effect now.
It's in effect now. But, yeah, okay. But the shortfall, the makeup on our end will be 2023, right?
No, it's in effect now.
It's in effect now.
It was
So were these
discounted
taxes out?
It just came out.
Okay,
Yep.
got it. Okay.
Now, the school did not adopt that sliding scale, so the school is on
Right.
the old bar.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Deb. Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Carried. I'd like to make a motion to I'll get back to you, Pat. I'd like to make a motion to accept the town court's report for the month of December. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions that I can't answer? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. So carried. Pat, anything to report on your end right now?
Yes, so within the past, sure, thanks. So within the past month, we've had a few causes of action filed against the town. Two matters filed by the Cuyahoga Indian Nation regarding 126 East Ferry Street and then 2133 Lake Road. And those matters were answered, and then I put in a motion to dismiss on behalf of the town, and those have since been voluntarily discontinued by the nation for their own reasons, apparently. But so those were filed, and they're going to be. It has not formally been dismissed, but that's where those are headed. There is the other matter regarding the parking regulations that the town put in. It was local law number 3 of 2020. Similar, where the Cuyahoga Indian Nation filed an Article 78 matter. I did a motion to dismiss on behalf of the town. That motion was granted. It was then appealed to the 4th Department. The 4th Department upheld the dismissal on 2 of the causes of action, and then sent 1 cause of action back down to the lower court to continue on. So that required an answer to be put in, so that was done earlier this month as well. So that matter is ongoing. And then otherwise, I saw that Mr. Howe had submitted the motion for reargument up to the Court of Appeals after the 4th Department did not grant the relief that the town requested. So the Seneca Meadows challenge to local law number 3, which is the local law that places the 2025 end date on landfill activities within the town. That local law had that similarly had a motion to dismiss, which was granted, and now that is going up to the Court of Appeals, and that would have been considered at a session last month, and we expect to hear from them either this month or next. So those are the active court cases that are involving the town at the moment.
Thank you. Just so everybody understands, when the 126 East Barrett Street opened up, the property was owned by the Seneca Cuyahoga Nation of Oklahoma, okay, who originally opened the property, and then it's been idle for the last 9 years. They've been very current with their taxes. They leased out the property to a member of the Cuyahoga Nation that is not recognized by the leadership of the Cuyahoga Nation, who is federally recognized. Okay, that opened up on Labor Day weekend. Since December 28th, the Cuyahoga Nation leadership, current leadership recognized by the federal government, bought that property from the Seneca Indians of Oklahoma. Okay. Once they bought the property, then on December 31st, they took over the property, okay? And if you drive by now, you'll see Seneca or Cuyahoga Nation police with barricades, et cetera, keeping an eye on the property. Okay? They own the property. When we set the violations out, it was a zoning violation because it's zoned R1, residential. We sent out a violation. They responded. We sent the violation to the Oklahoma tribe. They came back and asked us for an extension on that because they were looking for a local attorney. We granted them the extension. Then we sent them a second violation after that time period lapsed. and they were to come in front of the board, the zoning board of appeals, asking for a special use variance for the property. Okay? I don't know what the zoning board of appeals decision would have been, but historically, that property has been a gas station store before I was a kid, and that's a long time ago. So I don't know what the decision was, but that's why it's a moot point now, because the Seneca Nation from Oklahoma is out of the picture. Okay? Now, whether the new owners will open up that property, I don't know that answer, but if they do, we will start the whole process over again. We will send them a violation, a zoning violation, and go through that procedure like we did. Yes, sir.
The property that's on the corner of Bayard Street and Route 89, according to the maps, that looks like an R1 location also.
That's correct. And we sent them a violation as well to the owners of that property, and we were in the process of going through that. But I think that's, I don't know where that one is on the...
That's a different property. That's the former Bodine's.
Oh.
The former Bodine's farm.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Well, when it was Bodine's farm stand, they obtained, I believe, a use variance to operate their farm stand. And this is, it's an awful lot more busy, but it's basically the same sort of operation.
So that
It's a commercial retail.
So it was granted a waiver to act as a commercial business?
Which
that
historically
was
it always was, okay, when it was owned by, you know, the Bodine family, when they owned it, it's always been, that was before my time. I don't know the logistics of...
That goes back a ways, when that variance was granted.
So when the new owners took over that corner, wouldn't they have to reapply for that exemption?
No, exactly, that's kind of the point of all land use regulation, is that you're trying to regulate the land, not the users of that land. And so when a variance like that is granted, it stays with the land. And you could have several different owners, but the variance stays. And that's all part of the whole body of law that's built up around land use.
Which is inconsistent, I'll grant you, okay? So when this opened up, I pushed the envelope to send out a violation, a notice of violation to, because I knew it was going to be one big mess, which has turned out to be one big mess. Okay? All right. Thank you, Pat. I'm going to make a motion to accept the water and sewer report for the month of... I did town justice. Make a motion to accept the town water and sewer report for the month of December. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Tudio?
Yeah, Joe?
Yes.
I noticed that we were asked to develop update job for, the board approved to spend funds up to, but not to exceed $100,000. Where do we sit on that?
Over that, and I believe that's being addressed later. Or
Over that, because the initial job would have been fine. What had happened is that we ordered 14-inch valves, 12-inch valves, I'm sorry, 12-inch valves, and then the map said 12-inch. Then when we digging it up, it was a 14-inch valve, which 14-inch pipe, so a special one had to be made for that. Two of them, right, on either side, right? And then the other problem was that we had 2 water main breaks and...
so, Steve, while that original project was going on, down by all creatures, there just happened to be a substantial water main break right in the middle of Fall Street. Wasn't planned on working there. That crew was on site. We couldn't shut the water off. They got a Easy valve in, they had a 6-inch, they got it in. We got that all fixed by, say, midnight. Turned it back on, and another leak came up 200 feet down the road. So just that part from all creatures to that, say, 400 feet down the road was up to 95. Just that. Okay, so,
So where do we sit on the, because that was unbudgeted funds, right? The $100,000 ask was not budgeted.
No, not budgeted. Come out of,
So where are we sitting now?
So now it'll have to come out of contingency fund.
Well, no, the 100 was coming out of contingency, was not.
Water and sewer contingency fund.
Right.
Yeah.
So what are we up to, 150, 200?
so we discovered more valves that had to go in. So we're going to be asking for 170 more.
170 more than the
And
100?
yes, and that, yes. And
So-
I can show you, bring you to Oak Street and show you on the maps.
Yep. Oh, that's all right, just trying
But
to,
yeah, that's how where we're at, and I figured it all out, and I've been in discussion with Mike, and we're working on.
so their project's grown into $300,000 project.
Yep, 270.
Sounds like we ought to be looking at replacing water on Fall Street. I mean, I think we all knew that, water and sewer there needs to be done, and we ought to be trying to tee that up with the federal government or the state or somebody to get.
I have contacted the Department of Transportation and asked them what their plan is for Fall Street and 5 and 20. It's not in their 5-year plan. So Peter can probably explain it a lot better than us. For us to go in and replace all of Fall Street,
Oh, yeah.
crazy.
Well, yeah, we definitely need some help with it.
But what is being done is substantial improvement. So it's not, this isn't Band-Aid stuff. What we've done and the valves we're putting in now. So we're at the point we're waiting for the 2 14-inch valves to go on Fall. And they're going to finish that part of the project, and we started putting in the ones that we can. Like on Fall by Rumsey, we put our own in because we didn't have to worry about the traffic and all that. I don't know if you saw that big pile.
Yep.
Okay, so we're now putting in the ones that we can put.
Thank you.
And remember, these valves, if you've missed it, is basically to enable us to isolate the leak. We had a major leak with a fire hydrant on Fall Street that we couldn't isolate, and the crew tried to isolate it for over 5 hours and tried to turn the valves off, and they don't work.
The Department of Health wants action on this matter.
Yeah. So when that happens, you got to shut the whole system down, and that's why we all went into a boil water advisory again, which is the second time since August. So we're trying to identify the bad ones, and it's not the best answer. It's not the 100%, but it's going to help somewhat.
Substantial in those areas.
Okay. Any other questions for Joe? All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Mike?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
When they were going around and checking all the manhole covers, etc., I happened to be walking past Gold Pumps on Rumsey Street, and I told the fellow that was there that I noticed this apparent leak in the water main that's just south of the railroad tracks. And it was just across the street from where he was, but anyways, just south of the railroad tracks, there's a fire hydrant. Between the railroad tracks and the fire hydrant, there's a no parking sign. And it appears to me that when they put the no parking sign in, they may have pierced the water main, because there's a constant, it's not heavy, but there's a constant leak of water across the sidewalk there.
Which street are you on?
Rumsey.
Rumsey
South
and
of the tracks?
South of the tracks.
Rumsey Street on, right across from Oak Street, you said the railroad
It
track
is.
right there?
There's a brand new hydrant sitting right there?
Yes.
Okay. And there's a leak right there?
The leak's just north of the hydrant.
Okay.
You can, it's
I'll go look at it
pretty,
tomorrow.
yeah, it's pretty obvious that stopped no parking sign Right
business-
next to that parking,
Okay,
that
well,
no parking sign, the
look at it.
grass is considerably higher than anywhere else.
Well, there's not much water main right there, but I'll check it out.
Okay.
Good, thank you. Okay, I'm gonna, we approved that. I'm gonna make a motion, we approve the public safety report for the month of December. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Teenstra? Chief, any comments?
I do have a few comments. As we close out 2021, we have put out a law enforcement survey to the community. We're seeking input on our services for 2021. The survey looks similar to this right here. I've left a few on the seats of everybody. It's on our website, it's on the town website, it's on Facebook, Instagram. Real simple, easy, takes about 10 minutes to take. You can go on, either click on there, there's also a QR code that you can scan with your phone to take it. Please do so. We take these very seriously, and we'd love to have your input on how we've been doing in 2021. Also, lastly, I'd like to thank Missy from the community center, Joe, Jim, water department, highway department for all their assistance, and It's a Wonderful Life weekend that we had in the month of December. It was a very successful event, and we could not do it without the partnership of everyone here at the town. We also had assistance from the state police and the Seneca County Sheriff's Department, so thank you to those two departments that assisted us, as well as DEC. They sent a couple officers down, and we had a nice, successful, safe event again this past year, and I'd like to personally thank all of them for all their assistance with that.
Okay, thank you, sir. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Chief mentioned, we brought something to my mind. Last week, the town launched our new website. If you get a chance to check it out, it's completely overhauled with a lot of different, sites and different links and so forth. It's not a finished product. If we still need input, so we kind of launched it, but we're in the position that if we get some feedback from people, we certainly can make changes and so forth. But now it's ADA compatible. It's more formatted to look at it on your phone, which our old one wasn't, type of thing. So take a look at it. If you have any suggestions or comments, just send me an email. And as I said, it's a work in progress, but that was launched, I believe, last Wednesday, I believe. And there's all kinds of links there to join us on social media. These meetings will be on that when Kathy downloads it into our Yahoo account, and you can just go to the website and click on the Yahoo link, and you'll be able to do the meeting if you're not here live. I don't know why you'd want to watch it again, but if you weren't here.
Mike, one more thing. I just want to point out that our survey for our department is closing on February 28th. So please get your results in, and so we can tally everything up. February 28th is when it's going to close.
Okay.
Chief, was this a follow-up in reference to the police reform?
It's part of the police reform, but we in our overall evaluation of the department, we felt that this was something that we should do on a yearly basis. It's not mandatory, but it is something that we felt was important to communicate with the community, get their feedback.
Thank you.
Yeah, just leave it over there in case you want to.
You can ask my husband, I still talk pretty loud.
And again, to go back, I want to, with Water and Sewer Report, I want to publicly thank a former employee of Seneca Falls Water Department and Sewer Department, Pat Kapora. Pat has helped Joe and his crew out immensely with locations of different things, and well, it's like this and it's like that and so forth. Unfortunately, the records of where things are is not 100% accurate, And Pat is a phone call away for Joe, and he's a great asset for the town. So I just want to publicly thank Pat for all that he does to help us out. Okay. I'd like to make a motion, we accept the engineering report from Barton and Judas. Have a second for that, please? Second. Peter, it didn't hit our packet. It's okay. I'll provide it to the
I
board.
think they all got it. Didn't you send it to them, Mike?
Well, I don't have everyone's email address. I don't have everyone's email address yet, so, but I did, yeah, I apologize, I did send it late. It was essentially an update of the projects we have going on. There is a, based on kind of the anticipated new projects we have in 2022, based on discussions with yourself and with Joe, that we'll have an agreement that'll be hopefully crossing the board's desks in the next week or two. Really kind of highlight what we look at for 2022 projects.
And Peter will be getting a lot of reports coming up. We're anxious to get started on a lot of our projects that are in the pipeline. So
It's going to be even a busier year for us anyways.
okay, thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Thank you. I make a motion to accept the report from MRB for grant writing services. Can I have a second for that? Second. Okay, thank you. I'll let Matt explain a couple of things. There's one significant highlight there that Matt should emphasize, and then we'll talk about the negative ones.
Thank you, Supervisor. The big announcement, of course, was a $1.3 million award to the town through the Regional Economic Development Council for the replacement of water meters. Pretty significant project, and definitely something else that the Department of Health pays attention to in terms of metered sales versus produced water, and so this will help you stay accurate with that. We have 2 active grant applications out there that we're still monitoring, the Baird Street sewer line and the equalization tank. We expect an announcement on those in March, around March.
And we have a TAP grant out there too, Matt?
Yes, that's right.
For the phase 3 of the sidewalk.
That's right. Safe routes to school, that's correct.
Safe school, okay. Yeah, hang on one second. Just, so the water meter replacement is going to, that process will start pretty soon. We'll be meeting with different vendors. About a year and a half ago, Councilman Avery and myself had met with different vendors and Joe to review things. So we're looking forward to moving that along as quickly as we can. Basically, everybody in the town's water meter will be replaced. It'll be online type of thing. There'll be sensors that will pick up the reading that'll go directly to the water department in the office, to the clerk's office, and that's how things will operate. It will be able to detect a water leak immediately instead of waiting for the grass to start to grow a little bit higher, type of thing. The work is done by private subcontractors. Our folks won't be going into homes and replacing meters, but as we get closer to that actual project, we'll make some announcements. It'll be basically folks will be contacted. We're going to be, in your neighborhood at this time. We'd like to get in to replace the meter, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty excited about that. We had a Bridge New York grant out there that we did not get for Veterans Bridge, which is off of Rumsey Street onto Barrett Street. Later on in the new business, there's some money allocated to that because there's a desperate need of expansion joints to be fixed. So there's some money allocated. I'm working on getting a price at that point to review that. Matt, do you have something else?
No, sir.
Oh, yeah. Can I have that microphone?
Let me have that, please. All right.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so on the sidewalk, there's $100,000 left from the phase 2 or 1, whatever is going to be carried over. So there won't be additional engineering costs on that 100 when it's folded in, right?
Okay.
You already got the engineering
You guys are
costs.
talking to the wrong guys.
Oh, I'm talking to you? Oh.
Matt, not Matt's category, another engineer from B&L, Matt Schooley, okay? Matt and I met today with the Department of Transportation and a Zoom meeting. So probably about $200,000 left, considering. And Matt, I gave Matt 2 charges. One charge is how many areas can we do with the 200,000? The Department of Transportation was there because you have to stay within the scope of the project. Okay, we tried to bring sidewalks up the baseball field. No, can't do it. We tried to add sidewalks to Butler Ave, or not Butler Avenue, another street. No, can't do that. It's not within the footprint of the original grant. So we're working on that. Originally in that phase 2, there was sidewalks supposed to be connecting the high school, middle school complex with Frank Knight. Okay? That might be where the money will be used for. It won't be sidewalks because there's not enough money, but it might be connecting those 2 facilities as students go back and forth for practice and so forth. So I have meet with the superintendent of schools to see if they're still interested in that. And that would be one option. The other option would be how many more feet of sidewalk can we do within the footprint of phase 2? Make sense?
We've already been charged an engineering fee.
Correct, correct. Well,
We're not gonna be charged twice on the same 100,000.
well,
That's all
no,
I'm saying.
there'd be, if we use the money for the path between the 2 schools, absolutely not. That's already been designed. That was pulled out of the project, okay? If they have to do some sidewalks, there'd be some minimal things that we would have to do. Minimal, not much. Okay? Okay, yes?
On the water meter replacement, on the bill online or in the mail or whatever, is it going to list the water district that the resident lives in?
So we're working on that with the county. There's not currently a map of where each water district is. Okay. The county's working on making a map.
Sarah, could you use the microphone, please?
Sure. The county's working on making a map of water districts for the entire county. So once we get that, I don't know if that will be on the bill, but we can definitely notify you if you have a question of what area you are in when that's finished.
It comes in handy for the,
I understand, trust me. I've been asking for a map for about 5 years, and they're just now gonna start making one. So there's somebody new at the county health department, and she's really taking a hold on that to make the map. So hopefully soon we'll have maps for that. Okay?
Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor of the report, please say aye. Aye. And finally, Seneca Development Corporation, we have nothing to report. We had our final meeting, and we're working with, we've assigned a manager of some of the grant money from the DRI that would be LaBella Associates, and there's going to be a public meeting, I think, next Thursday. If anybody's interested, there's about $600,000 that was part of the grant that is just designated for improvements in the original footprint of the DRI. And so if you are in that footprint and you're a store, a business owner, etc., you can apply for funds to do renovations on your business. That, again, I think, Missy, you have that in your phone? Probably not, right? I think it's if they haven't contacted you yet. No kidding. I better be careful what I say. I thought it was next Thursday night, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, we'll put that out there. That's coming out of the Seneca Development Corporation. I'll let you know about that. They didn't contact you, huh?
For the meeting?
Huh?
For a meeting?
Yeah, it would be Greg.
No, yes, they do have a meeting, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We have, I make a motion that we accept the communications for the month of December. We have 6 of them. Minutes from Heritage Preservation, minutes from Planning, minutes from Zoning, letter from New York State Board of Electric Generation, monthly reports, and distribution. So moved. Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. So carried. Okay, old business.
Okay, so for the first matter, you have the surplus properties for 115 Fall Street. I've been in touch with the buyer's attorney out of Mr. Testa out of Auburn. I was in touch with their office today. Was able to get some of the closing papers to them today for their review. So hopefully we get that moving in the right direction. And then otherwise, 60 State Street, within the past month, I was asked, that property was kind of tied up with the DRI funding. And so within the last month, we've updated the contract, and I've been in touch with the buyers there directly, and just yesterday received back the signed copy of the contract, and hopefully we can get that moving towards closing probably within a couple months. So we'll open there. So actually both are moving in the right direction, at least for those two properties.
Thank you. 60 State Street was part of the DRI project that hopefully those projects, the funding has been, contracts are being signed as we speak, and then those projects can get kicked off.
I have a question. Yes, when is the 115 Fall Street going to be closing, do you know? Do you have the estimate?
So we haven't set a date at this point, but I was able to get documents to them for their review that is necessary in order to be able to.
So the Testa has already has the documents for review right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So I mean, the main thing is that the deed, the title, that the title accurately and properly reflects the property coming from the village to the town.
Right. Is that something that's out of your hand? Are you waiting on something from somebody for that?
Well, it had been, but I was able to get things together and put things together properly in order to get them to you. And I'm sure Mr. Testa will be, up one side of it, down the other, so to speak, to make sure things are the way they need to be.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Okay, moving on to new business. Okay. Any special events to approve? No special events. Okay. Have a resolution here, 2022 adopted budget modifications in addition to reserves, whereas there remains approximately $1,933,000. One right here. Okay, well, it's next time. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yep. We should do that under reorganizational, shouldn't we? No? Okay. All right, I'm sorry. I need a motion to authorize the town supervisor to invest in town monies if we had any. Can I have a second for that, please? Thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. I've never invested a nickel, just for the record. It's basically goes into an interest-bearing account. And let's see, we need to delegate, an alternative delegate association of town meeting.
Depends if anybody's going to New York.
Anybody know about it?
Yeah, we know.
I know.
Okay.
I'm not going.
I'm not going.
You're gone? Anybody going to New York? The week, President's Week? It's the conference there.
So they are going to have it.
As far as I know, they're going to have it, so far. That's Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of President's Week.
I hope when I'm here to be great now. No? Sorry, guys.
Okay. there's all kinds of, you know, if you're interested in, I never went to New York 2 years ago either. There's all kinds of local seminars that they do. For the last 2 years, it's been all zoomed in. But there's some good things. You know, New York is New York type of thing, but there's some good things.
There's a virtual training I'm doing this week.
Right.
It's a 2-day training.
Yeah.
That's
It's similar to what you're gonna do.
And there's also going to be another, I was reading the material, like a roundtable, supervisors forum that they're also gonna have in addition to that they're gonna offer, aside from that, so.
Okay. All right, just a reminder, Christmas tree pickup will be Tuesday, January 18th. And according to the highway superintendent, it's the one-day only event. So, if you have a Christmas tree you want to take in, you can put it out front, they'll pick it up. Certainly, if you want to dump it off quicker than that, you can bring it to the town barn, and we can dispose it as that works. Okay, now I can go there, huh?
Yeah, now you can do that.
Motion to adopt the budget modifications in addition to reserves, whereas there remains approximately $1,930,000 in 2021 landfill revenue, which has not been designated for use or reserves, whereas the town board deems it appropriate to designate this revenue for use in the 2020 adopted budget. Therefore, be it resolved, Seneca Falls Town Board does authorize the following appropriation of the remaining 2020 revenue received from Seneca Metals: the addition of $200,000 to the assessment budget to begin the reevaluation program, the addition of $110,000 to the town supervisor's budget to begin the consideration of the search for a town manager, the creation of a reserve in the general fund to deal with townwide storm drain issues in the amount of $1 million, the addition of $60,000 to the community center budget for repair and replacement of the roof, the addition of $443,000 to the bridge reserve in the highway fund to allow for planning and repair of Veterans Bridge, the addition of the purchase of a Cameron trailer to the water and sewer budgets in the amount of $106,000, and addition of a special audit not to exceed $14,000. Can I have a second for that, please?
I'll second.
Is this in our packet, what you just read?
Yeah.
It's a resolution.
Okay, any questions?
So this essentially is, what's the total of this modification to the budget?
$1,933,000.
So we created a budget of whatever, $5.5 million,
Yeah,
and now we're saying we're gonna add another $2 million to it. Is that what, just to be clear in my head?
that's very clear.
Just like that. So we go through budget.
No, this is right here.
Right, but budget workshops,
Right.
meet, back and forth, talk, try to work out the budget, have people in here and discuss, and now we're gonna add in 5 minutes an additional $2 million.
Correct. It's landfill revenue from.
I understand where it's coming from.
Normally, the landfill revenue would be allocated, it has to be officially, legally allocated someplace. So it's either going to this specific project or it would go to a reserve type of thing.
Correct.
Okay.
So why don't we put it in reserve
Because,
and pull from it as we may need? Because these are all unbudgeted items.
correct. Now they're going to be budgeted if this passes.
So the budget process essentially is just a farce.
No, I don't know.
I mean,
We established the budget to
We're going
establish.
through there and trying to pick out 10,000 here and 100,000 there, and we just drop in 2 million like it's nothing. Okay. I'm not support it,
Okay.
clearly, but it's not the way to do it. It's not the way to run a business.
Well, again, if you follow the path, it has to be allocated, right?
Correct.
Okay, so you could allocate it to.
Put it in reserve.
Water and sewer reserve. You could allocate it to highway reserve. This resolution, if passes.
And
okay,
it should all be done at budget time.
this
What we're gonna
resolution,
do
if
with it.
passes, would be where it's going to be allocated.
I understand what you're doing, but
Okay.
I don't support it.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed?
Opposed?
Opposed. That's carried 3-1. Okay, I have a resolution introducing proposed local law and providing for public hearing, Article 14, solar energy systems. Whereas the town of Seneca Falls believes that it would be advantageous to the town to amend the town code to include regulations for solar energy. Now therefore be resolved, the proposed local law number 1 of the year 2022 entitled Local Law Amending Chapter 300 of the Seneca Falls Town Code, Article 14, Solar Energy System. Be it further resolved that copies of the aforesaid proposed local law be laid upon the desk of each member of the town board. Be it further resolved that the aforesaid proposed local law be referred to Seneca County and the town planning boards for review. Be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at 6 p.m. on February 1st, 2022. Be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published a notice of said hearing in the official newspaper of the town at least 10 days prior. Upon adoption of this foregoing provision, the clerk distribute copies of the aforesaid local law. Can I have a second for that resolution, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Yeah.
are we in discussion now? Okay, so this is a proposed amendment to the zoning code. This would adopt regulations for solar projects. So this is come out of, so when it says Article 14, that would be the new Article 14 of our zoning code. And the numbering reflects where it would sit within our zoning code. So this came about, well, as you're aware, right now there's a moratorium on solar projects. And this came about through the planning committee that has been working now for a few years on updating the town zoning code. So far, we've done things regarding multi-use buildings and a lot of parking regulations and things like that. This is the latest proposal to come out of that committee. So this has been based on a model that is put forth by NYSERDA, the state's regulatory agency that oversees solar projects like this. And so it's based on that model and based on what other communities have been, what sorts of projects they're seeing, and what their experiences have been with this. So this reflects that, but also reflects the particular concerns of our committee for our particular community on how we want to see things moving forward with solar projects. So it is a few pages long, so I ask that you take a look at it before we come back for the public hearing. So in the interim, this would be reviewed by the county planning, the county's planning board. They will make their review and make a recommendation. It will also be reviewed by the town's planning board in a minute. And so the next step is after this resolution, we'll have another resolution to begin the seeker process, which is the State Environmental Quality Review. This board would be the lead agency. We'd have a resolution to designate yourself as a lead agency. And again, that then make you the lead agency, we send out notices, and then we come back at the next board meeting to take action both on seeker, and then if you want to move forward on the local law, we'll do that as well at the next meeting.
And this work from the committee has been in the hands of the town board for about 3.5 weeks so far. So you'll have another month to look it over. Yes.
I just would like Pat to clarify something. I thought when I was on the planning board and we discussed these maps, we actually kind of came to a point where we couldn't make a decision, and then we never talked about it again. So I thought just now that I heard you say that this resolution came up from the planning board.
No.
Well, what did you say then?
It came from the planning committee. It's a different group. The planning committee is 2 people from the planning board, 2 people from the zoning board.
So now how
help
can
from
the
MRB
planning
group.
committee be able to bring that forward if the planning board really didn't even make a decision yet? We were in total, not agreed.
Okay. So right now, this, if the board wants to move forward to it, it does get referred back to the planning board. The planning board does what's called a review and recommendation, as they do with all zoning amendments. And then they can, the planning board will, present their recommendation back to the zoning board, back to this board, to who will then take action on it. So if the planning board is not in favor of it, they can make that recommendation against it. So if they have any particular, amendments that they want to see, they can make that recommendation.
And the key is making a recommendation. The town board has the eventual authority to pass the local law. Okay?
Okay, so
But aren't we kind of getting, again, the horse before the cart here? I mean, this is to schedule a public hearings next month. And you can see right now that there's concerns and discussion. There's.
I don't see
You
this.
say-
Okay.
Excuse me, am I talking?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Give her a microphone. That's all I'm gonna tell you is have a microphone.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, fine.
That's all.
Right, but you always seem to interrupt, and it really, seems.
Use the microphone.
Thank you. So again, this process is going way too fast. I mean, you said that this has been in the hands of the board for three and a half weeks. Well, we just got 2 new members to the board January 1st. So it wasn't in the hands of this board for 3.5 weeks. And there is some concern with the planning board. She just indicated when she was on the planning board that they had some concern about it. So those are the things that need to be reviewed and discussed before we can, make a decision on whether we want to schedule a public hearing. A public hearing is something that should be scheduled essentially when we've decided, yeah, this is a good idea. Boards decided collectively this is a good idea, we want to move forward. And we aren't doing that. We aren't discussing and making that decision. We're voting on whether to have a public hearing. Well, I know very little about this. I'd like to know how this whole solar energy, these codes, fit into our comprehensive plan, which hasn't been updated since 2006, 16 years ago. You pull out the comprehensive plan, this probably doesn't bolt into that at all. It doesn't tie into it. There's no guidance there. The comprehensive plan needs to be updated first, and then these types of codes are written and put into place to adhere to what the town decides we want as a town going forward. We've got it ass backwards. We got to stop this.
Actually, the committee did look at the comprehensive plan, and the comprehensive plan does, wants to promote renewable energy sources, and this is one of them.
Well, yeah.
And this was, so the planning committee did send out really the working document at the time to the planning board and the zoning board of appeals, because members, because this is the area of their expertise. Well, they made recommendations, and a lot of those recommendations were taken into account and revised to the document that you have now. So, I mean, for starters, this is about, there's a lot of paper and a lot of ink there, but it's about close to half as long as it was a couple months ago. A lot of that based on, the other board members, some who were here today.
And I shared the document the same time I shared the document with the 2021 board. I shared the document with the councilman-elect and councilwoman-elect at the same time. So they had that as well.
may I go?
Dominica, yeah.
So there is an issue. That's actually why the planning board, we hadn't made a decision. Because even though we realize there's a reason and possibly a need for this green energy, what we were concerned about was the fact that we only have a limited amount of land and property in our town, or in our county and town. And these are the maps specifically that were showing us where the solar energy was, where they wanted to put up the solar energy. So all the green was where they're going to do solar energy. So since I'm no longer on the board, I would like to at least make a suggestion that even though we also have our comprehensive plan, which has not been updated, that we at least try to find out statistically what our town would look like if everything remained the same in the next 20 years. Because that's what they're saying is the life of the solar panels. And my question on the planning board, which I still stand behind, is if you take up all of our land, we will not have an opportunity to have homes built, to increase our town. it won't happen because the land will be taken up. So to me, it's not an issue of whether I want solar or not solar. My issue goes along with that comprehensive plan. Where are our young people going to build houses? And what's going to happen to that land 20 years from now? And I think that to just push this through is what's happening, because the planning board did not agree to this. Or did not, at least, we never came to agreement. And everybody who's sitting here right now can look at those maps. Green is where they want to put solar panels. So what's left of the town? That's the only thing. So I don't know how the town board would, how you would do that. Like I said, I don't know if it's an actuary, I don't know who does it. But I think we need to get that answer. What would our town look like in 20 years? What are the needs? What's the population growth? I think we need those answers before we can turn all the land into 20-year solar panels.
Thank you. Okay, yes.
Well, probably this is not, this probably is for when we have our, what is February 1st?
February 1st, public hearing, we have it to the time for these
I
comments.
just want to tell you, I've been approached many times from the solar panel people. They want to come across from down
Gravel
on
Road over.
89, across Gravel Road, across my property, and over to the landfill. I want to remind you, I live 1 mile outside the former limits, and they want to put solar panels, they want to march those solar panels all the way around our town. So keep that in mind.
Why would they march it to the landfill, I wonder?
I don't know, but that's what they were talking to me about. Yeah. I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, you know,
I just want you to know what's happening. And my land is the key.
we need to review.
Don't sell it, whatever you do.
We need to review the comprehensive plan and update the comprehensive plan. Perhaps this does fit into the comprehensive plan, but the comprehensive plan hasn't been updated in 16 years.
Why hasn't it been updated in 16 years?
Hey, I don't know.
When it was
Been
brought
on
up
board too.
last year, okay, I suggested to Councilman Churchill, you start the
It's my
process,
fault.
and here we
It's
are
my
right now.
fault.
So-
It hasn't been updated in 16 years because of Steve Churchill.
No, you had the opportunity over the last 2 years to start the process to upgrade the comprehensive
Well-
plan. Have you done that? Have you done
No, I
that?
haven't, but I've had some other issues, Mr. Farrar.
I've had a lot of issues
that kind of
myself.
circumvented
I've
things,
had a
and
lot
I
of
would have loved to. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't do it now.
Didn't say you could.
That
You
just
can do
means it hasn't been done for 2 years.
I'll put you in
It
charge.
hasn't been done for 16 years. Let's do it, and then discuss this stuff.
Actually, it's been 10 years, or 12,
2006.
2006.
Do the math.
And the Seneca Falls Development Corporation also did a comprehensive plan, okay, 4 years ago. And it's heavily laid into that comprehensive plan about renewable energy, solar energy, landfill, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that is in that. I suggest you do that, but certainly, as one of equal members of this town board, you certainly can start that process of renewing the comprehensive plan.
I'll tell you what, I'll work on that, and we'll get it done, and we'll put this off until it's done.
Perfect. We have a motion in a second.
Mike, if I could, part of the reason this was worked on by the planning committee and is being presented to the town board is that the town has a moratorium that went on this sort of renewable energy type projects that went in on June 1st. And it's
Moratorium, September.
I'm sorry?
The moratorium
Yeah.
went in place in
Did it
September.
go in place in September? Okay. Either way, so this was the first of the types of projects to address. We have other types to address as well. However, the moratorium cannot last forever. And so we're trying to address the things that you wanted to be addressed. And this is the first attempt at doing so. And I would hope that everybody would read it and see what the planning committee has put together, and it might be something that you'd be in favor of.
Here's the problem. I don't know that woman that spoke that used to be on the planning board, but you know, this is gonna be the next big problem in Seneca Falls, is these solar farms. Because, you know, I don't wanna see them on, you know, productive farmland, but, you know, the farmer owns the land. He does what he wants to do with it. So this plan here is very complicated. In order to put a solar farm now in Seneca Falls with this information, you're gonna need to have a lawyer and an engineer just to understand the language, which is good. It'll make it a little more difficult just to plop these things anywhere in the town. So, you know, I am in favor of language. If we don't have some language in place and the moratorium expires, that these things could pop up everywhere. So I want to get it done as soon as possible. Can we wait one more month, like to March 1st? No?
Yeah, we can do whatever we want as a board.
If he needs 30 more days, what's the difference?
I don't, who needs 30 more days?
Steve.
I'm just saying that we all do.
No, Steve wants to have a
Oh,
comprehensive plan in place before we move on.
That isn't gonna happen.
That's what it.
I'm in favor of.
You're not gonna have a comprehensive plan
No, I know, but
by
I'm
March.
in favor of giving him 30 days.
30 days more for what, can I ask?
So he could research whatever he wants to do. Maybe he can get on board with this, because this is gonna be a problem in this town. Solar farms.
I know, that's why
We
we're,
need to have some language.
that's why we're doing it, that's why we spent the last 6 months working on this. That's why we did
If
this.
he's not comfortable, I'm just
Okay,
saying, why can't we
there's
just
gonna be
give him
a,
30
we can
days?
wait, Frank, we can wait, it doesn't matter.
I'm giving you 30 days, extra 30 days, work at it, would you?
So I'll make a motion, yeah, so I'll make a motion that we table this until at least
March 1st. March 1st, we gotta do something.
Well, why don't we just table
And
the
that'll
whole
give
thing
you-
from February, and then from February, we'll be scheduling a public hearing,
potential.
potentially
Okay.
a public hearing for March.
All right, just so I'm not the smartest knife in the, sharpest knife in the drawer, you have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so we need to vote on the motion, and you're gonna make an amendment to the motion and change.
you can make a motion to table at any time.
Okay, so you're making a motion to table it.
So I'll make a motion to table it for 30 days.
Okay, can I have a second for that
So
motion?
March
Second.
1st.
Second. Any further,
Table it until March.
Next meeting or March?
March, the monthly
One
meeting for
or two
March.
meetings?
The March meeting, we're gonna do what we're trying to do tonight.
Hold on. So the
Tabling
motion
it
is to
till
set a
February
public
with a
hearing.
potential
Do
for
you want to have a
hearing
public
for
hearing in March, or you just want to revisit the whole
No,
thing
we have
again
a public
in
hearing in
February?
March.
Why don't we just revisit the whole thing in February? There might be changes, there might be something, I don't know. Why don't we just, we're gonna table it, let's just table it, and we'll do it again next month, and we'll talk about it, I don't know.
You know, and I see earlier in the regular meeting, under petitioners, there was a presentation that was supposed to, I think, discuss this whole matter.
There was.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing any presentation.
No, there wasn't,
Sean
because there was
He wasn't able to be here tonight.
Well, again, so we're just gonna throw that out, we don't need to present it.
All right,
You're welcome,
we're getting
but,
the
you know.
30 days, just relax.
Okay, but I'm just trying to say, I mean, maybe perhaps
We should get these, if this presentation was on the agenda, I would assume it's important.
the presentation from Sean from MRB was to highlight the same exact things that Pat highlighted with the committee work. That's all it was. Again, the committee prepared a very detailed report, very detailed. He was just going to do the highlight some of the finer points that Pat did. At the public meeting or the public hearing, he will be here to answer any questions at the public hearing. Type of thing.
but we are gonna get the presentation.
I don't know what this, Matt, I don't know.
I mean, what the supervisor's getting at is that, you know, Pat gave the overview that Sean would have given. We can give that interview, or that overview again, or in more detail if you need, but the intent was to introduce this Pat.
We can pick this up next month. If you want to just table it, we'll pick it up next month. In that time, take a look through it. If there's anything you want to change about it, you know, certainly the board can talk about it.
Mike, can I just say one more thing? I really am pleading, imploring that you take the suggestion that I offered, that we find out what our community will look like in 20 years. Because if we find out that our population is going to increase, right?
I mean, if you look at the, I don't have a magic ball, so
No, but there's
if you look at the
something-
census report, our population is declining, not increasing, declining. I don't know what other information you're
I'm
gonna.
talking about a projection for 20 years, because that's how long those solar panels will be here. So I'm saying, I mean, we can say, like, just looking now, maybe our population is decreasing, but I'm talking long-term, because solar panels are a long-term investment, and I don't know if our community can handle that, looking at all those green spaces that can become solar panels. I mean, it's just, I think somebody needs to look into it.
I wish I knew that answer. I'd be a very wealthy person if I could tell you what the population is going to be in 10 years and what's going to attract people to Seneca Falls. I don't know.
There's ways to do it. I just think that even for our comprehensive plan, we have to know what those projections are, otherwise we can't plan anything.
But that's why we're also having the public hearing, it's to get the public's opinions on the matter as well, so.
But when you read through this, the main thrust of it is to make a distinction between solar panels that somebody wants to put on the side, on the roof of their house, or the roof of their business, or maybe even something out in the backyard, to power their house, their home, their business, something that's on the site. And draw a distinction between that and somebody who's going to have a solar farm that's then going to feed into the grid and, you know, be a major commercial project. And it's just a matter of scale. The idea is to try to make it easy for the folks who just want to save on their energy bill, but at the same time make it more a significant project for these large-scale projects. And some of the restrictions on the large-scale projects are that, one, they're restricted to the, either industrial or agricultural zones. Two, they're restricted to the property itself. It needs to be at least 25 acres large, and then the entire project would have a setback from the lot lines of those properties of a minimum of 500 feet all the way around. With buffer and things like that. So, I mean, before we get all that worked up about it, I would really ask that everybody read through the proposal, because I think that the planning board made a concerted effort to try to move forward with some type of solar regulation for the town, so you're not left in the situation of having solar farms regulated as you would a regular building, because they're not a regular building and they have their own sets of.
And I'll make sure I get, I'll have this downloaded onto our website tomorrow so that you can take a look at it. We're going to move on, okay? We're going to move on. We're going to move on. Okay? We're going to move on, I said. I said we're going to move on, okay? We have a motion to table the local law, or excuse me, the public meeting that was part of the resolution in February. We have a motion and a second. All in favor of tabling it to March 1st, 2022, please say aye.
Aye. No, wait a minute. Are we tabling till February so we can have a public hearing in March?
Right. As I said.
Or you're tabling till February?
So tabling the public hearing to March.
No, she's 100% right. We're tabling the vote to conduct a public hearing in March to February.
Right.
You have to vote on whether to have a public hearing 30 days in advance.
Okay, so with that, all in favor of...
She got it.
You got it?
It's approved.
All in favor, I beg your pardon?
It's been approved.
How's it been approved? We haven't voted.
No.
We voted on it.
No, wait, I didn't vote. All in favor of the motion to table, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Opposed? Would you vote?
Aye.
Okay, so it's carried 3-1. So this will go in front of back to the town board in February 1st, I think, is the next board meeting.
And Steve, take time, read this whole, I will, read it. Got 30 extra days.
So Pat, I'm assuming we don't have to do the seeker?
We don't have to do the seeker, we can bring that along with it for next month.
And, okay.
Let's talk battery storage.
I'm sorry?
The next matter on your agenda is battery storage.
Yes, battery storage, eh? Let's go to that
Because
one.
these large projects that bring in solar energy,
Let me read the resolution
they
first.
then need to store that energy.
All right. I have a resolution introducing proposed local law and providing for public hearing Article 15, battery energy storage. Whereas the town board of the town of Seneca Falls believes that it would be advantageous to the town to amend the town code to include regulations for battery energy storage, now therefore be resolved that proposed local law number 2 of the year entitled, or 2022 entitled Local Law Amending Chapter 300 of the Seneca Falls Town Code, Article 15, battery energy storage, be and the same is hereby introduced before the town. Be it further resolved that copies, blah, blah, blah. Be it further resolved that the aforementioned proposed local law be referred to Seneca County Town Planning Board. Be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at 6 p.m. on February 1st, 2022. Can I have a second for this, please?
Mike, sorry, the planning board never.
Excuse me, folks, you're out of...
I understand that. The planning board never saw that one, it never came up.
We never discussed battery storage because we
That's
spent so
part
much
of the
time
motion is
discussing.
to refer.
Folks, I'm sorry, you're out of order, okay? I apologize. Can I get a sec?
Why do you need battery
Yeah.
storage if we don't even?
I don't want to discuss this, okay? I have a resolution. I just need, thank you, second the resolution. Discussion.
Where did this come from? That's my question.
Again, this committee has been working diligently. This gentleman right here is on the committee. I am on the committee. He is on the committee. Sean Logue from MRB. Tom Scholes is on the committee. Nikki is on the committee. Dick Stabinski was on the committee. Who am I forgetting?
Frank Rizek.
Who?
Frank Rosetta.
Frank Rizika is on the committee. This committee has been working diligently on this stuff based on the moratorium that you proposed. And the next section of the moratorium is battery storage, to deal with battery storage issues when they come into the community. If a business wants to open a business for battery storage, now that you have renewable energy. This is what this is all about. The next thing this committee will be looking at will be methane gas types of situations and how to regulate that control. That's what this committee was set up to do based on our reviewing of zoning laws tied to renewable energy.
Why am I not on that committee? Everybody else is.
It's everybody else. You were
You just
invited.
named 20 people.
There's representatives from the planning board, there's
Right,
representatives.
I heard what you, I know where they all come from. I'm asking you why wasn't I appointed to that committee? Since I'm the one that put the moratorium.
I invited you to come to the meeting. I invited you to come. I told you when the meeting is. I'll be more than happy to invite you again when I know the next meeting is. It's probably scheduled. I'm not
Well, invite her on the committee.
Invited, and you can participate. You can sit there, and you can
Have a vote?
Originally, Dave DeLamus sat in on the meetings, and then that stopped. But I can tell you, we have looked at, this committee has looked at other codes from communities throughout the region here to see what they have written. And I have to tell you, this is the most stringent, comprehensive code that you will find. Is when you institute setbacks and you institute engineers that have to okay these sites.
Does it talk about the limit of the
Well, the
number of
developer's
acres?
gonna come in here
Number of
and look at
acres
this
that we want to
code.
set aside in town of Seneca Falls for such projects? I mean, does it do any of that? No. That's got to be in
Well,
the
actually,
comprehensive
yeah,
plan.
it does exactly that. It limits the
That was
zone
discussed.
districts where they can be
Yeah,
and where they can't be.
Right, but,
Right, that's what it
but
does.
maybe you want a tighter limit.
Well, that's what we did, that's what we looked at.
That's what the committee decided to
That's what
do.
the comprehensive plan should be articulated.
The
Then that's what-
comprehensive plan,
Okay. all right.
yes, but the comprehensive plan helps the town to designate where is it gonna be residential? Where is it gonna be commercial? Where is it gonna be agricultural? That's what the plan does. And now this is taking, they say, okay, in the agricultural, let's do these sorts of things. In the
Or not.
industrial, let's use
Or
these.
not.
And, exactly.
But that's in the
That's what the-
comprehensive plan, which is.
And that's what the code is, and that's what we're trying to do.
Code is not the comprehensive.
Well, I know that, that's what I just said. But if you don't read it, you won't know what it is that they're trying to do. You know, they are trying to bring the comprehensive plan, and which is more general, this is more specific. That's the idea.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion?
I'd like to offer that we table this to coincide with the solar arrays. So I'd like to make a motion that we table this till February.
We have a motion to table this to February. Got a second for that motion?
I'll second it. It only makes logical sense to do them both at the same time.
All in favor of tabling this to February, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Opposed. That's.
Oh, wait, she's opposed.
No, I'm opposed. I'm getting frustrated with that. I feel like we're constantly being stuck on decisions rather than moving forward. I don't feel like we're moving forward. I don't feel like we're moving forward with this. We have a committee, we have a working committee. I'm hearing what they're saying, we have a working committee. How long have they been working on things? And Steve, now you want to get involved in it, they've been going on it.
Look, Caitlin, I read all this stuff. I'm in favor of doing this, but, you know, I'm trying to get Steve, I just want to like to see him get on board on something like this.
It's a little frustrating sitting here,
Give him
listening to
30 more
committee
days.
members saying how much work they've been doing.
I'd like to get it done as soon as possible. But, you know, I don't know. I just say, give them a chance to read it. Did you honestly
He had
read it?
3.5 weeks to read it.
He read a little bit, so he hasn't.
How much? We're there. We've already tabled it to February. We're there, and then we'll do it. No, again, I don't know how. I don't know. I'm frustrated. I don't know how much times anybody needs to read a document. I don't know how much time that requires. Okay?
Well, you know,
If I get a document, I diligently read it, I take notes, I have questions, I go through it. I spend time. You have to spend time on stuff. If you're an elected official, you have to spend time on stuff. I do that, okay? I don't know how much a person needs to go through a 20-page document. I don't know that, okay? But everybody's had it for 3.5 weeks. And I know everybody's got issues, I know. Okay. You voted not to table that?
Yeah, so it's 2 and 2.
Right, so the second did not pass.
Second did not pass, okay. No.
That means you have to vote on whether.
So the table vote did not pass. Table vote did not pass. The same vote holds for scheduling the public hearing. That's not going to pass again. You still need it.
Then, you know, then I'll change.
My recommendation is keep them both together.
I'll keep the vote together, then I will support I'll
Keep the two local laws together and
yes.
bring it up next
I will,
month.
we'll keep, yes, for the lateral, I'll do it that way. But Steve, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that this is.
Well, you know,
that this
30-some years ago,
we're moving towards this direction.
a town board,
I rely on our committees, just like I said in the email.
they considered the landfill. And I don't
Always
think
going
they
back
had
to the
any
landfill.
idea 30 years ago that the landfill that we have now was going to occur.
Excuse me.
The same thing with these types of things. Not so much the battery storage.
I would like to get ahead of it though. This is why we have these
My God, this
committees.
is the first night we've seen it.
No, it's not.
No, I've had this
No,
for
it's
over
not,
2
Steve.
weeks, 2.5
In
weeks.
public, this is the first night we've seen it. This first night that this board has seen it. In public. You weren't even on the board until 4 days ago. So we couldn't discuss it as a board. We just got it. I think there should be.
You didn't even reach out to me. You had the potential to reach out to me. And I had this 3.5 weeks ago. And I still took the time to read it.
What would you say?
I do work outside of these town board meetings. Do you?
No, I don't. I do not. Sit on my ass.
Yep, to keep it, okay. Okay, so I'm assuming we just, we don't have to table the other resolution because I didn't read it into.
Just keep it all together.
Keep it all
Yes,
together.
right.
So that's gonna move us right over to, letter H, approve agreement between Trinity Church and the town of Seneca Falls. I have I'm gonna make a motion that we approve a parking lot lease agreement with Trinity Church. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Trinity Church, as I mentioned a couple of months ago, approached the town. Trinity Church has a parking lot across from the church that many people in the town use it. It's not a municipal parking lot. They've asked us to work out an agreement where in exchange, we can use that as a municipal parking lot all day, every day, except for church functions and Sunday Mass, one Mass, I believe. In return, we would plow the driveway and mow their lawn, okay? So that's what the agreement is. Pat has worked this out with the attorneys from Trinity Church, and that's what's in front of you. So we have a motion and a second. Any questions on this?
So, yeah, basically you're authorizing the supervisor to enter into this agreement with the Trinity Church.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. So carried. I have a resolution here introducing proposed local law and providing for public hearing for town manager. Whereas the town board of the town of Seneca Falls believes that it would be advantageous to the town to establish the office of town manager. Now therefore it be resolved that the proposed local law number, well,
I don't know where this is going, call it one if you want, we can just call it A.
Can't be three unless we have one and two?
Whatever you call it, if something gets approved and it gets sent to the state, they're gonna renumber it by the number that it comes into them.
Okay.
So we could actually call it local law A, if you wish.
Well, I just don't want to, we can just make a handwriting difference? And-
Sure. Yes, that's
All right, so let's call it local law A of the year 2022, entitled the local law to establish the office of town manager pursuant to town local law section 58, and be the same and hereby introduced before the town board of the town of Seneca Falls. Be it further resolved that copies of the aforesaid proposed local law be laid upon the desk of each member of the board. Be it further resolved that the aforesaid proposed local law be referred to the Seneca County Personnel Department for review. Be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on said proposed local law, 6 o'clock on February 1st, 2022, et cetera, et cetera. Can I have a second for this? Thank you. Discussion.
Yes, again, it seems like we've got the horse in front of its cart, because this board haven't even come to the decision whether they want a town manager position or not. So we would have to vote on that before we vote on what to schedule a public hearing to discuss that matter. The other thing is here, we had a town feasibility committee that was formed, and they met many times. We met with them, board last year, and we decided to allocate some funds to hire a CGR company out of Rochester to do a study, conduct a study. I don't think we've seen that final report of the study from CGR.
Seriously?
We have? We got the final report?
It was the draft, but it was, yeah.
And it came before the board? I can't find a copy of it.
Okay.
I mean, you have a
You've
copy?
had that maybe for 2 months.
Okay, but has it been distributed to the board? Have these folks seen it?
Yes.
They have?
Yes. And the other board members have seen it too. The former board members have seen it.
I can't see it. I asked the clerk if she had a copy.
Clerk doesn't have it, I have it.
She didn't have a copy. Well,
So I gotta do is ask me, I'll give you another copy. Before you leave tonight, I'll give you another copy.
But the idea, as I recall, was that we were going to get back when they came out with a report with the folks from the feasibility committee to discuss whether this is a fit for the town.
Yep.
We did not do that.
Yep. And if you read the report, the recommendation is that something different should be doing. They're not going to come out and make a dead heart recommendation. but they strongly suggest that something else, another layer of administration.
And you emailed me that report? Yeah. Okay, because I looked in my emails and couldn't find it either. Okay. But I believe you, if you said you emailed it. It certainly wasn't distributed at a board meeting.
No, not a hard copy,
The
no.
clerk would have had a copy,
No,
but she does not.
not a hard copy.
So I've got to just believe you that I got a copy.
No, you don't have to believe me.
Well, I didn't have a copy.
Okay, but anyway,
So the board hasn't decided whether we
so
want to.
that's what the resolution is.
It's been unbudgeted. The previous board decided we didn't want to put it in the 2022 budget. It was a $120,000 allocation.
110 now.
Okay, 110 now. And we probably won't be enough. And all of a sudden here, 3 days into the new year, boom, it's on there. We're going to have a local hearing public hearing next month, and we're going to vote on creating a town, hiring a town manager. That's not the way it should be. There should be discussion. We should be back with this group. We should go over that report as a group. I'd like to get a copy emailed to me.
I'll give it to you tonight.
That would be wonderful. And so again, we should not be scheduling. I'm not going to support scheduling a public hearing.
Okay. Further discussion? All in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed?
Opposed.
That's carried 3-1. I have a resolution here to advertise for a chief water treatment plant operator position. Whereas the town water wastewater department needs to have a chief water treatment plant operator. This position has been vacant since July of 2019. Whereas this position is not anticipated to add to the overall number of significant costs of staff within the department. Therefore, it be resolved the town board authorize the department to advertise for the position of chief water treatment plant operator. Can I have a second for that resolution, please?
I second it.
Second. Any questions? Discussion?
It's been vacant
It's
for
been vacant from 2018.
So
That's
three-
a mistake I wrote.
3.5 years. So why do we need one now?
So we knew this question would come up
Right.
when my position was created in 2018 when somebody left. And now that there are 4 people qualified for it, it's time for somebody to be the chief operator. I can't be the chief of everything in the whole project. So that was a temporary thing for me to train the new people. And job descriptions were written in 2018 and approved by the board then to be to read the way they are.
So was it budgeted for in 2022?
If you read that, it's not changing. It should not change it or significantly change it.
So, I mean, my question is, we didn't have a position last year. Was it in the budget last year, but it's not filled? And then it's carried over, or it's not in the budget? It's either there or it is this position.
The position,
Yeah.
I would say, is not technically in the budget, but the money is.
Well, the position.
Well, no, if you read, that's why I wrote it like that.
All right, so will you be refilling if you do a
No.
promotion, you won't be backfilling?
This is also within, this is going to be a promotion.
Okay, so this
Because
will
we
be a
have 4
promotion. It's
qualified
not a new
people.
person coming in off the street.
It's not adding personnel.
And it's gonna cost about an additional $2,000, right? If you
Well,
put in
we
the
don't
overtime
know.
and everything that people make that are qualified, it's probably gonna be $2,000 more. You can sneak 2,000 out of your budget somewhere, right?
I would say 2 to 5.
Are you going to backfill the position? If somebody slides up, you're backfilling?
No additional.
No additional people.
Okay, it doesn't say that here. Also, we talked about, you know, you have a title, where, what department this is coming from.
Oh, jeez, I'm sorry. They're probably on all the other ones.
No, it's not.
No?
And I do want to say that Joe and I did talk to the personnel director of the county and have worked out all the details on, making this, filling this position in the civil service way it's supposed to be filled. And there will be an exam ordered 30 days after the person is appointed in the position. The state law says within 30 days an exam has to be requested from the state. So all the ducks in a row to do this.
And I'm assuming if this is advertising for chief water treatment plant operator, this is coming out of the water budget?
Yes.
That makes pretty good sense. Okay.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
So are you going to be advertising this?
No, it's
Or
gonna
this
be
is within house?
Just
In-house.
Just
Internally.
We're trying to promote from within.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor, please say aye. So carried. I have a resolution here. Purchase an F-350 crane truck, budgeted. Is this out of sewer, water, or both?
Combinations. Remember how we did the budget?
Don't get mad.
It's used for both.
Don't get mad. Whereas the town water wastewater department needs a new crane truck to replace a truck being put on Auctions International, whereas Shepherd Ford and Canandaigua submitted a proposal with New York government price concessions for $65,747.50. Therefore, it be resolved that the town board authorize the purchase of this F-350 crane truck from Shepherd Ford for $65,747.50. Can I have a second for that resolution, please?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Discussion.
Yes, I do have some discussion on it. Here's the only thing. I know we need the truck and everything, but I want Joe to tell us why we need the truck. And this is kind of goofy, but I'd like a picture of the truck when we get it sent to all the board members because, you know, so we can see what we're buying. When we buy big pieces of equipment that cost 40, 50, 60, 80, 300,000, you know, maybe we can't get to the spot to see it. You know, send me a picture and I'll understand what it is we're buying. Like,
A picture and what it's used for.
yes,
Sure.
yeah.
So I think I wrote on there what it's used for, but I'm not positive. But I did write a little synopsis of what it's replacing, right?
Yeah.
And I showed you that older truck that's time to go.
Right, the one that's 19 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we're gonna get money back on that truck from Auctions International.
So you thought you wrote on here what you're going to use for it?
What did I write on that? I know we talked about it at budget time. What did I write?
You didn't write on this resolution, that's all I'm saying.
Perfect.
I know there's a lot that drives me crazy. It's not working.
Did I say
Because I'm already crazy. It's not going to work, but.
Did I
you
say
didn't
what
write
it's
that.
replacing?
Huh?
Did I say what it's replacing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the point that the councilman's trying to make is, if you don't know what the old crane truck was used for,
Or the
you're
dump
not
truck.
going to know what the new crane truck is used for.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I know.
Okay.
I apologize.
I know
It's
you
not
told us,
self-explanatory to me, but not everybody.
I know.
Yeah. I know you do.
I know we use dump trucks.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Taking kids to
Aye.
school or something.
Anybody opposed? So carried. I have a resolution here to purchase an F-615 dump truck, which is budgeted for the water department. The town water wastewater department needs a new dump truck to replace a dump truck being put on Auctions International. Whereas Wester Ford of Hamburg in Hamburg, New York has submitted a proposal with the New York price concessions of $90,267.43. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board authorize the purchase of this F-650 dump truck from Wester Ford of Hamburg for $90,267.43. Can I have a second for this, please?
Yeah, I second that.
Thank you. Discussion. Joe, I keep asking this question, but I'll ask it again. I'm assuming, and I know what happens when you assume, that the local Ford dealership has an opportunity to.
They absolutely do. They don't, I don't believe they don't participate in the state concession.
I just want to make sure that the people of the world understand that. Okay, thank you.
Don't forget the picture.
You can picture that dump truck, okay?
Send you the picture in August.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You want a picture of it dumping or not dumping? Okay, all in favor of that one, please say aye. Aye. I have a resolution. Oh boy. Purchase a 6-inch Goodwin pump, which is also budgeted. Whereas the town water wastewater department needs another 6-inch pump for water breaks and storm flows, whereas Xylem in Batavia is the sole source provider for this pump, and their bid is $39,557.12. Therefore, it resolved the town board authorized the purchase of the pump from Xylem in Batavia for $39,557.12. Can I have a second for that, please?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion.
Joe, didn't we buy a 6-inch pump just this past fall when we were having?
No, that was the budget. We talked about putting this in the budget. So we did not buy.
I thought we just spent emergency money $50,000 on a 6-inch pump.
No, that was it.
To help.
That was the pump for Kingdom as a spare.
No, that was, you told, when we had the heavy flows from the rain. and
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you, we didn't buy it.
We didn't buy it?
That was budget time.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
We did buy an emergency pump for Kingdom, I don't know if it was last year or the year before. But that was that's a permanent pump. This is mobile.
Correct.
This is a mobile pump that when water lines main break and the water is coming all over the place, it's to help alleviate so you can fix it if you can turn off the valve. And this also helps when we get 2 inches of rain in an hour to help alleviate some of that.
And that is somewhat of a Band-Aid, but it's needed.
Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you. I have a resolution here, roof at wastewater plant, which is budgeted. The town water wastewater department needs a new roof installed at the drying beds at the wastewater plant. And whereas we received 3 bids for the roof, with the low bidder being Santelli Lumber and Palmyra for $29,906.29. Therefore, it resolved the town board authorized Santelli Lumber to install the new roof for $29,906.29. Have a second for this, please.
Second.
Thank you. And again, this would come out of the sewer budget. And if you've been down there, you can see the disrepair for this that needs to be updated. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? I have a resolution. Ferris mower, whereas the town water wastewater department needs a new mower to replace an old mower being put on auctions international for sale. This has also been budgeted, whereas Martin's Outdoor Power in Fayette was the low bidder at $8,714.17. Therefore, it resolved the town board authorized the purchase of Ferris mower from Martin Outdoors Power in Fayette for $8,714.17. Can I have a second for this, please?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or discussion? Joe, this would be, I think you said, at the treatment plant, at the water treatment plant, correct?
No, this one goes, it stays at Kenmore Pump Station, is used to mow all the pump stations, the sewer pump stations.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? Whereas the town of Seneca Falls Town Board finds that Sourcewell is a government entity to the state of Minnesota, whereas Sourcewell Contract 122017 SCA for sewer cleaning and hydro excavating equipment with related accessories and supplies granted to Sewer Equipment Company of America has been made available, whereas the contract is let in a manner consistent with New York State law, whereas the town of Seneca Falls has received a proposal from Sewer Equipment Company of America through their local distributor, Sign-Kind Equipment, to provide a 900 ECO 12-yard truck-mounted combination sewer cleaner and related accessories and supplies. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Seneca Falls Board hereby authorize the purchase of the yard truck mounted combination sewer cleaner and related accessories and supplies pursuant to the attached proposal from Sewer Equipment Company of America and pursuant to general municipal law. Have a second for that, please?
I'll second
Thank
it.
you. Questions or discussion?
Is this budgeted?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And this is not just a water and sewer, this is water, sewer, highway, like everything, but we both use this a lot. And it's time to replace the other one and get a good value for the other one.
So because we're spending $423,000 on this, and I know we're getting it traded, how long before we get this vehicle?
At least 6 months, 5, 6 months.
So when we get it,
Take a picture?
before a board meeting, can you actually drive it here? And we can take a look at it? I'm serious. Maybe you can tell us what it does and things like that.
Well,
I'm
I'll bring it up.
in favor of it, but I just want to bring it up here and we can look at it.
We'll bring them all here and have the air show.
That's a big purchase.
Great, you got it.
I say bring it to my house. You can pump my
Yes, right.
Okay. Good idea. All right. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So carried. You're on a roll, Joe. Falls Town Board finds that the Houston-Galveston Area Council is a government entity of the state of Texas, and whereas the, thank you. Hey, any questions or discussion? This is for a camera to be shared by water, sewer, highway. Give us the opportunity to look at our any drainage lines, sewer lines. Right now, we have to go out and contract that out, or beg, borrow, and steal.
Waterloo's been helping us out, but, we gotta get our own.
Budgeted?
Budgeted.
Is this the one for 106,000?
No, this is not budgeted.
Yeah, budgeted it before.
Well, yeah, but not in the 2022 budget. We allocated funds to it, but the original 2022 budget was not in the original 2022 budget. It's being allocated now out of the $1.9 million. Yep. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you. Can I have a motion to release the budgeted funds to the Seneca Falls Seneca Falls Museum? I did? But I skipped. Let's take my time. This is for the camera.
Because you know this is way over what I usually do. Apparently not. I mean, it's...
Yeah, I don't have it. I don't think we have. I make a motion that we hire Benedito to do a special audit for $14,000.
I will second that one. Thank you.
Not to exceed.
Any questions or discussion? Okay, just to everybody understands that this will be we do an audit on a regular basis as required by law. This will be a special audit to finalize and look at different things. In February, we'll be working on, or we'll be accepting the resignation retirement of our principal account clerk. It'll be on the February agenda for March, and this would be part of the transition as we turn over the books and the financials to somebody else, just to make sure everything is in order before that all happens. So the Benedito group will be doing that. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Anybody opposed? So carried. I'd like to make a motion to release $122,077 to, thank you, budgeted. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Under the category of license to operate, I have make a motion here to renew the license to construct and operate Landfill Chapter 58. With that is a cashier, money order for $250. Have a second for that?
Second.
Any questions or concerns?
Yes, I would like to, again, I don't know how much the new town board members know, but we haven't renewed their permit in now 2 years because we requested, essentially, we sent them a request for the 2 conditions, and in order to consider renewing the operating permit, and the landfill responded essentially no, not without renegotiating the host benefit agreement. And for the record, and I'm not going to read it all, but Nikki, I would like 2 documents included as part of the record. One is the communication with our conditions to the landfill, and the other is their response. And I will forward those to you in an email so you can add them to the record. But essentially our conditions, the first condition was very simple. We asked that SMI present a plan to demonstrate that it is in a consistent and reoccurring in compliance with the air quality standards for hydrogen sulfide as set out by 6 NYCRR 257-5 DEC standards. This condition will be satisfied upon submission of a plan that is found to be acceptable by the town. So we were just asking the the landfill to show us how are you monitoring. If you have a plan to monitor hydrogen sulfide, we'd like to see it, and if not, present us with a plan to monitor hydrogen sulfide. They essentially came back and said, no, we aren't doing it. The second request is that they provide the town with some funds up to $20,000 to help set up a website or a smartphone application for monitoring and reporting odors within the town, within the area. This would be used to collect data regarding the odor impacts. So it would be an independent data collection monitoring system. And again, they said no. So for that reason, I still do not think we should grant their operating permit. They're violating both DEC regulations, and they're violating town code, which says that people should be able to enjoy their homes without having, to smell landfill. It doesn't say that specifically, but so many words. So that's why I'm not going to support this, and I hope some of the other board members join me in that. They don't deserve to have an operating permit without sitting down and addressing these issues.
Okay, any further questions, discussion? There is a committee that was assigned in the beginning, the Reorganizational Committee, that will be working with the landfill to address some of those issues as well. And, so. Yes, sir.
Do you think that the committee, that you and Kate were on that committee?
Correct.
Correct.
And Pat Morrell.
And Pat Morrell. Sorry, Pat. Sorry. Do you think that you guys, you three, should meet with them and try to address this before we do the permit? I mean, here, I came to this board at least 3 times saying they should give the operating permit to the landfill. I'm not opposed to the operating permit. I've never seen the permit, and Steve is right. They've been operating for 24 months without the permit. And I'm in favor of the permit, but I'd like to see what the permit is.
I don't know what a permit, I've never,
I mean,
there's no permit, right, for the town? I mean, it's just,
the last one must have been
Right.
issued in 2019.
you have the permit?
The town issues the permit per the code. The code basically follows the DEC regulations. That's what the basis for our permit is. This is a renewal of the town code, which is an addition to the DEC permit.
Okay.
So our DEC permit that's 10 feet tall has sections in of how we deal with odors and how we
And our letter to your attorney was to show us, demonstrate how you are monitoring hydrogen sulfide. And you chose not to show us how. You're saying, yeah, look at the DEC regs, they're in there somewhere. Well, hey, good luck.
They're in.
We want to know
They're in.
how specifically SMI is doing it, and if they aren't doing it, to meet the regulations. And of course, we're all smelling hydrogen sulfide, so they obviously aren't doing it properly. Then we asked that show us a plan that you're going to put in place to control this.
We are meeting the DEC regulations.
Well, then
And
show us, demonstrate.
I show you when I bring the reports to that we submit to the DEC and submit to the town.
Well,
All you have to do is review those reports.
That's not the response.
Well, that's the data. The data's in there, Councilman. That's where the data is. Do the homework in the data. The data tells you we're meeting the regulations.
The reports are on file in the town clerk's office, and they're
And the DEC,
on file.
and I'm more than happy to
Can I go
have
back
you-
to the permit, Kyle? So this is a separate thing in the permit?
No, this is required by Chapter 58 that we renew this every year to operate and construct and operate.
And this is, so do you need any more information or no questions?
Well, yeah, before I can vote yes, or, I'm in favor of it, but I want to see the permit.
What do you need, Frank? What do you
I
need?
the
Tell me what you
permit.
need.
I need to see the permit. I want to know what I'm voting.
Nikki has it on
That's all.
file.
I'm not asking for a lot.
So you want to delay this a month?
1 month, so I can look at the permit.
You want to table this? So you have a chance to look at the permit?
Yeah, I'd like to see the permit.
That's what I'm asking. That's what you
I'll
want to
table
make a
it.
motion
I
to
make a
table
motion
it.
to table it for 1 month.
What happens is Nikki issues the permit. So she issued like a 4-page letter, here's your permit to operate.
Based
She
on
can
this
give you
request, you know
the
what you're
last-
asking for, you're gonna get a piece of paper that's
That's
signed
the
by
permit.
Nikki, that gives, it's like a dog license, that's what you're gonna see.
That's what it is.
There's no,
But you needed to operate in the town.
There's
They've
no,
been operating illegal for 2 years.
there's no things like, you mean it's like getting a doe permit?
No, it's lengthy, Frank, it's quite lengthy. It's what, 4
It
pages?
reiterates a lot of the DEC
It's
requirements.
4 pages long.
Okay,
Yeah, so then I wanna just see those 4
Yeah.
pages. What's
And do
wrong
we
with
have
that?
any
so you made a
proof that
motion
it
to
can be
table
sent
this
back?
in
No.
February.
Yeah, just in February, so I can look at it.
Can I have a second for the motion to table it? Second.
Okay.
All in favor of tabling it to February, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's carried 4-0. We'll pick this up in February.
I will get that out to
Can you get that permit out to all the board members, please? Thank you.
I will get it out.
And give a copy of the permit to Melissa Howell, my confidential secretary, so she can put that on our new website, okay?
Get a copy to Pat.
Pat's probably got one. Okay, Nikki, did Dal get in here and the other ones with paying the bill, they in here? The ones that I gave? All right. Have a motion to pay the bills, please.
Motion.
Any questions? Second, Frank?
I second that.
Thank you.
Pay the bills.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Is there any other new business in front of this board?
Special ordinance.
For organization of a new meeting to be held for the Q&A.
I'm sorry.
An organization, or a special meeting to be held. We're looking at the end of January for more of like a question and answer style meeting in reference to the Clint Halftown, was it the Key of the Nation incident that occurred most recently. I was contacted by a number of concerned citizens over the weekend. There seems to be some misinformation, misunderstanding, etc. I think that it would be advantageous for us to be factual in reference to what the town is able to do, what the town is not able to do. I think, in talking with Chief Kinstra, I think he said it best, it's about as clear as mud. There's a lot of information that I simply don't know, that, a lot of other parties do have information too.
So, what the councilwoman is requesting is a special board meeting sometime in late January, more of a informational, there's a lot of social media chatter with the recent situation that happened on New Year's Day. It's more like, I would consider it answering people's questions in a public session. Also, answering people's questions in a public session and also being informative. Not everybody understands. Folks, excuse me. It's very difficult to communicate when other people are communicating. A special session to inform people what's going on, try to answer their questions. Obviously, it's a very disconcerting situation when you wake up one morning and you see 4 Nation police cars and wood on the windows and concrete barriers. So I think that's what the councilwoman is looking to do. So we're asking if you can pick a day. Caitlin, there was 3 dates we threw out there to have this public. It would be held at the community center, and invite the public and take any questions prior to the meeting so that we can be prepared to answer any questions.
Questions would have to be submitted ahead of time.
Invites a couple of county officials who have been firsthand involved in this for many, many years, and go from there.
I second that. You pick the date.
Well, we should look at our calendars and say this date might work or that date might not work.
No, Pat, question, if it's no action is going to be taken. Does it need to be a formal town board meeting, or can it just be an informational meeting?
If you're gonna have more than, if you're gonna have a quorum and you're gonna meet, you're gonna be discussing, well,
You're not gonna take
town,
any
you're
action.
discussing town business to the extent that it is town business, because a lot of it is not. But then that should be a noticed meeting of the board.
Although no action taken.
Yeah, yes.
So three of us walk into a bar together.
It's a meeting.
And the nun said to the priest said to the rabbi, there's a joke like that at one time. A nun and a priest and a rabbi walked into a bar or something.
I heard Pinocchio walk through the bar.
The biggest question is
trying to
what
win
the
a-
town can do, what they can't do. That was the biggest question when I was being asked.
How about Thursday, January 20th?
That works for me.
That's good for me. How about you? Good.
Is that the third Thursday?
It's the,
Probably not a, you know, the other issue is that,
Not if you want me there.
I don't want you there.
Fine, have it whatever you want.
You got zoning or planning, right? Or something.
you know, given that COVID currently
No.
is at a 20%
What?
positivity rate in Seneca County, is it prudent to hold a public meeting on something that's, you know, right now? They say that COVID might start to wane at the end of January. So,
We
you know,
can
I'm
also
kinda asking,
offer
but
it Zoom.
I just don't think it's prudent to conduct a meeting, given that, you know, infection rate in Seneca County, positivity rate in Seneca County is 20% yesterday, 15%.
What are we doing?
And expected to get worse.
Yep.
And you certainly can't hold it here.
Yep.
We shouldn't be here tonight like we are. There's no social distancing going on in this room.
Over here.
So we have a second and a motion. You probably don't have your calendar with you, right?
No, but I'm sure.
I mean, would a night activity be a problem on the
Not at
20th?
all.
If we were in the gym and spread out, or the gym be occupied?
No, we can make it work.
Make it work?
Yeah.
Put the basketball players outside?
Yeah. They can adjust.
Okay. All right, so 3 people can make it the 20th?
I can make it.
1, 2, 3.
What about Don?
Who?
Don.
Don, I don't, Don's not here, I can't speak for her.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, and Steve probably can't make it. So, but at least we can get 3 there. All right, how about the 24th, a Monday? That work for you? That work for you? Would that work for you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, the 20th would work, and I'm questioning whether we should be holding this meeting during this peak of COVID. I mean, it makes no sense.
Do you have a different proposal rather than having a meeting? How about that?
No, I'm not against having the meeting, but I would wait until we're out of this.
We should provide the community something. They're having,
Right.
they have questions.
Well, let's do it after, I mean, right now, the state is saying that COVID may come down by the end of January. Why don't we wait to see what happens? And then we'll have it.
They're asking questions now.
Okay, and so they gotta wait till the 24th to get an answer, right? If we, I don't know.
Matt, welcome back to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
And thank you for the process. I appreciate it. And congratulations. And congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks.
Can't we Zoom the meeting?
We can. That's certainly an
That would
option.
eliminate all of the COVID issues
Absolutely.
and keep us.
We have
socially
the
distanced.
capability of doing that. The only issue is getting the link out there, but do you feel comfortable doing, I mean, do you think through social media we could,
We could put that out in a link. I mean, I don't see why that wouldn't be an option.
You're gonna have to do a notice at the meeting anyway.
Right.
Right.
So you can put it right on there. Put it on the website.
want to Zoom it?
Okay with me. Whatever.
You and I have to try to figure that one out.
I'll help you.
No, I can. We think helped me for the last 2 years. No, what I'm saying is, you know, we would probably set up the meeting at the community center,
Well, we Zoom
or we can do it right here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. But we would be here together, or no?
No, everybody stay home and Zoom in.
If you want to.
No need to gather anywhere.
We can talk.
I'd rather be.
Yeah, we can talk. Okay, we'll figure it out.
out.
So let's go the 24th then in that case, because that'll give us a little bit of time to get things
Yeah.
situated.
Okay, that's the
So put that down on your calendar, January 24th, 6 o'clock, Zoom meeting. More information to come as far as the link and invite. You didn't think I knew those words, huh? Invite or anything like that?
All right, so the motion was made by Katie.
Yep, seconded by Mr. Seneca.
Okay, got it.
And what time is it?
6 o'clock?
Thank you.
The 24th.
Read at 6.
On Zoom.
Okay. Yeah. All right. We just gotta set it up where everybody won't have, put the filters in, not that everybody can speak at one time, and you know what I'm saying? We'll work it out. We have no water and sewer credits. Great news. Do we have any need to enter an executive session that I'm not aware of? Can I have a motion to adjourn, please?
I motion we adjourn.
I second that. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Folks, thank you very much. Have a good evening.